Welcome everyone, this is Pineleaf, and today we are going to have our first look at the new Rivendell housing. I am here at the stables in Rivendell, so I decided this would be our starting point in heading out towards the Rivendell homesteads. Now there are two ways in which you could buy the Rivendell housing that I know of. One of those ways is of course to come over to Rivendell and head along the direction I have. We make a right turn over here, past the skirmish camp, and head along this dirt road. Now, this dirt road leads to the guest houses in Rivendell, which are to the left, but there is a new right branch, which is the new Rivendell housing neighborhood. Now, if you want to get inside, we could interact with this. And this gives a list of the neighborhoods that are currently available. Now, there's only a small number now, but I am sure that as more people buy houses, we are going to have more and more locations added into it. So let's go inside one of them. Let's try Razendren and see what's inside. Here we are inside the new neighborhood. Now, if you cannot reach Rivendell for some reason, you could instead go to the broker's office that's across the street from the Bree Town Hall, and that should be easily reachable by any level of character. Now, I will show you that after we take our tour of the neighborhood and decide on our purchase, but right now I'm avoiding the broker's office because most likely at this point it's going to be quite crowded as people flock into there trying to get their new homes. So let's head on deeper inside and see what type of houses are available. Now it's possible that while I was talking here, people came in and bought all the houses here, but we'll just have to see first. Now we have the usual stable master, Megavanen, and that has the usual destinations that you have inside of a housing neighborhood. For the Trollshaw Rivendell Stables, though somehow I don't think you'd be heading into the Rivendell Stables from here because it might be just easier to go outside. Now, I think all the houses then are across the road here. And we have a quest giver. Mydol Ninar Dean, alright, and he's a housing broker, so you could talk to this housing broker if you need to buy a house in a different neighborhood. Now, if you say purchase a house,
How may I be of
there
service?
seem to be 5 neighborhoods that are currently available. I will presume that means that there are several of them that have already been purchased. So because there were several more than 5 that were available then, so I presume that they've already sold out on several neighborhoods in here. Now, about this quest, perhaps we could have a look at that after we've had a look at the various houses in the neighborhood. Ooh, what do we have here? Oh, crafting stations. Alright, so if you need to do some crafting, this could be a nice convenient place to go. Now right now we are at still near the entrance. So this is just some tables where you can hold a party or something like that. Now it could be easy for a group of people to buy out the neighborhood since there are only 7 locations here in the Rivendell housing. After some thinking, I decided perhaps we should take the quest, because most likely this quest is going to give us a tour of the neighborhood, and that way I won't miss anything. What do you say about this, Herthamel? Madonna Martin.
Greetings, friend. Will you lend me your ear?
Megavanen, friend. I hail from the humble glen of Imladris. I'm sure you've journeyed far, and your feet are no doubt tired. I would beg that you find a seat and succor in the vale, though perhaps you are not so tired yet that you might take in the sights of the dell first. I know the men of Bree thrive in the bustle and dense markets and close-knit buildings neatly atop each other. I find that myself prefer a more tranquil place to call home, which is why I find this valley so appealing. Though in fairness, it is the only place I've called home. Perhaps you are of a kindred heart? Well, I come from the Shire, which has some similarities, I think, in how people think, at least compared to Bree. Okay, so I need to visit the entrance to the neighborhood, visit the Dell Commons, visit a simple cottage, visit a villa, visit a grand villa, find a good view of the valley, and find a view of the troll shawls. Now, I guess the grand villa, that is the kin house? No. Let us then head back. Oh, the joyful activity can be observed as the elves of Rivendell happily craft and barter. All right, so we've already hit one of the areas, the common area. We're now going to go back to the entrance so that we can get credit for that part of the quest. Now, note that all the brokers are giving this quest, so that means you could pick it up at Breland in the mayor's office. I mean, in the housing broker area across the street from the mayor's office, if you are coming through that route. There you go. Now, a brilliant golden gate marks the entrance to the dell above. Well, here's the dell above. So now, back to the quest giver and to the commons. Now we can head deeper into the commons. Now we've already passed this area. And look at that. We have Win the Crane's Bill here. So good place to get your VIP item if you need it. And we have the task boards, including all the way up to the latest ones. We have the 151 through 160. So now we've got 4 boards. It's been a while since I've checked a housing task area, and last I checked there were only 3, but it looks like there are 4 now with the 4 new factions in the newest release from the Kingdoms of Harad. So now we cross the river again, probably not for the last time, because look at that, there's another bridge up there. The elves love their bridges. I mean, it's not going to be Rivendell if there are not opportunities to fall off of a bridge. All right, so now we've got a T intersection and arriving at our first actual housing locations. So let us turn to the right for our first home that's available. A small but comfortable cottage sits here overlooking the valley. One torn path, home of another player, so therefore that means people are already snapping up the various houses in the region. And this is one of the small cottages. Yeah, only an elf will call this a cottage. Yes. A breathtaking view framed by the peaks of the Misty Mountains. Okay. So there we are. Ah! I presume they're talking about this view right over here. So if you want to have a nice mountain view, this would be a good house to purchase for that. It's a nice small cottage there, not too far from the vendors and all, which is probably one of the reasons why it was purchased so quickly. There we go. Now, let's head back to the intersection and see the second one. I suppose we'll follow the right-hand rule for this particular tour. So that leads to another bridge and another house that we will look for later. But we will continue up this way and come to our second house, which is near that waterfall, I presume. So we still need a view of the troll shawls and a grand villa. And it's a handsome property ready to be decorated with attention and care. Or in a rent. All right, so this is a villa. So, of course, it is a bit larger than the previous one. So nice and roomy. I think this one's not purchased yet. Let's go inside. As I was attempting to enter it, it got purchased! Oh, they are going fast, aren't they? So I cannot show you inside here. We'll have to find one that isn't purchased yet to do that. Though most likely, that too would probably be purchased as I am attempting to give a tour into it. Well, let's go back here and to this one here. Let's have a quick look at the map. Here we had the entrance to the stable master. This was the common area where we met the quest giver as well as Wenda and of course the task boards and all. We went this way and this was the first house we visited. Then we came up this way and this is the second house we visited. So now we're going to, looks like there's going to be another villa right over here as soon as we cross the river. Then to like, is that the kin house? That looks like a villa. Well, let us head on in, check things out and see who owns what. Once this is all over, I then have to make a decision on which house do I wish to purchase. We'll head up this way and find the next. Yeah, this is another 3 Welling Way, home of Faloran. I wonder if the entire neighborhood has already been bought out. That's always a possibility. This is right after the opening here. The housing neighborhood opened up about half an hour ago. So, yeah. We are still having the original land rush going on. So now, this way. See, we so far have 2 villas and 1 regular house on there. I think there's 7 in all. Or is it 4 villas, a kin house, and 2 regulars, is it? Something like that. Yeah, well this, this is the grand villa. Yeah, the kin house. No doubt a home with ample space for kin and fellows alike. Yes. So it looks like this is home of followers of the Zoe. All right. There we go. We get 3 turrets. Okay. I am sure this will be plenty for whatever kin decides to reside here. For the fellows of, what did they call themselves? The followers of the Zoe. All right. That is the kin house. So we have the grand villa, 2 villas. So that means I think that there are 2 regulars and 1 regular and 2 villas left. Actually, I forgot something. In the kin house is the one that has the best view of the troll shawls, and we need to find a view of the troll shawls. So I'm thinking that I need to come down over here. Used by rolling hills filled with the dense, fiery leaves of autumn. There we go. Well, it's hard to see too much into that. I guess I have to go a little bit beyond here. There, into the troll shawls. So all that's left in the quest is to return to the quest giver. But we want to have a look at the other properties, though I suspect that they're going to be pretty similar to the ones we've seen already. Back to the most recent crossroads, so about to say time to cross another bridge, but no, we have a house that's actually close to the road. So here we have another villa. Ah, this one doesn't seem to be purchased yet. So let's go inside while we have a chance. I'm beginning to think the database isn't quite updated yet, trying to keep up with everything. Because as soon as I tried to get inside, it said, oh, there's somebody living here. Right. I guess I should have figured it out from the fact that there was not a for sale sign in the front. All right, I'll just have to use that as my clue because the owned by doesn't seem to be coming up very quickly. Now, there is the last of the villages. What? Wait a minute. Did the same person buy every single one of these houses? Home of Anglara. All right. And then the final house is up here. I know that sort of like broke the right-hand rule a little bit, but it was just in front of you. So they seem to be a little bit more, those two at least, those two villas seem to be pretty close to each other. Now let's see what we have up here. This should be the final house. So the other, I do not see a for sale sign here. So I am going to assume that it has already been purchased, despite the fact that it says nothing about this place being purchased. Well, all I have to do is try to go in. Well, it looks like it's available for one moment. Ooh, there's a basement. Okay. A couple of side rooms here and there. Up here. Now there should also be stairs. Wait, is it? Oh, hold on. There is a slope there. Oh, all right. Here we go. I thought there had to be a stairway up. The place looked like it had to have been upstairs. Okay, and there is the little turret at top. All right, good. So you have 3 levels in here. I was thinking maybe 2, but looks like 3 levels. So that is that house. I wonder if the for sale signs have been disabled. So therefore, that means that using that as a clue as to whether or not the house has been purchased may not work because sometimes during a land rush they disable the for sale sign so that you have to go to a broker. That way there won't be people rushing to a specific house, clicking on it, and after all that trouble to get there and it's saying, oh, no, sorry, no longer available. I still need to take a tour inside of one of the villas because I wasn't able to get inside of either of those. Now let's turn in our quest to Tell them that we have successfully toured the neighborhood.
Megovanen.
Hello, my friend. I trust that our fine vale was a pleasant walk for you. There is room space aplenty if you are enamored of it as I, or as Aglara is. 3 houses, all right. You'll find no finer place to set your hearth, hang your hat, and enjoy the sunrise and sunset with a hearty draft of your choice. All right, so you get some steed experience, legendary experience, and an Imladris visitors. Visitors have arrived to welcome you to your new home. Now, is let's see. So, visiting scholar, select an item. A visiting scholar, an elf maiden, an elf champion. So this is a property card type item. Bind to account when acquired. Decoration, yeah. Furniture, wall, mobile yard, alright. And grazing great heart. And a wild, dense green hedge. A visiting hedge? Okay. Alright, so it's various items that you could put into your yard. Unfortunately, while I was giving you the tour of that house, all the houses in the neighborhood that were currently available have been purchased, and we're going to have to wait a little while before there are any more available. So I decided to come back here to Bree, where we are going to be visiting the broker's office, which is right over here. Let's see if it's still crowded in here. Only a moderate crowd now. It was pretty crowded about an hour ago. Anyway, let's see what we have in here to purchase a house.
Greetings, friend. How may I be of help?
Well, it'd be a help of you finding a new set of houses quicker, but apparently not. So I'll have to come here or into some place in the housing neighborhood a little bit later to see if they have any houses available. It appears that demand is so high over on the Peregrine server that they temporarily shut down housing purchases to help the system catch up. So I came over to another server, so let's see what we have available here. Purchase a house.
How may I be of service to you?
Well, there's a lot more available on this server, and I decided to try Penbarth since it alliterates with Pineleaf. And we have two choices here, both of them the smaller houses, Torrent Path and Highburg Road. So let's get the one on Torrent Path. That's the house right up there. So let us purchase this house. Buy the house. You can either get it for homesteading coins or you can get it for mithril. Since I have some mithril available, I will get it for that. All right, now that that's complete, we could have a look at my new home in a moment. But we still need to take a tour of one of the other houses. Let's see, so we want to... We're not going to make a purchase here, but I am going to go over to one of the other areas to look at... have a look there. And how about One Welling Way? Let's have a look at this one. So we're going to tour this house. Here we are. Apparently, yes, for sale signs are activated. That's something to know. It's just that on Peregrine, either someone had purchased the house or they had already disabled it at that point. All right, let's have a look inside. That's what we've been trying to do for a while. Definitely bigger. Over in here. Okay, and on the side we have the basement. So we do have a basement area. We have a larger basement area. We have, I think there were only 2 sections in the smaller house. I guess could check that again after we get back there. So let's go up here. All right, that's what we have an upstairs. Whee! Oh, right. We can look out over there. I guess that's appropriate for something in Rivendell. And over in the side. All right. So that's one of the larger houses. Now, let's see if we could take a little tour in this kin house that is still available. Let's see what's inside here. Once again, we have the wings, several stairs because we had that central steps. We have this one up here. The little gallery up on this side, and I guess we have the same thing on the other side. Actually, not quite. So we have a dome above there. Not there. Let's see. This is the second floor. Oh, yes. That's right. This will be the top floor then. That means we should have a basement, right? There'll be a basement here. I would think there would be a basement. I mean, it would be consistent with the... Ah, ha, ha. Here's the basement. Okay. Little side room there. Little side room there. And that is over on there. So it's not a symmetrical house. I think the other two were pretty much symmetrical. This one definitely is not. So this is the kin house. Now, let's have a look at my new home. I think this is the same house that I did a tour of earlier, but now it's One Torn Path home of Pineleaf. And this is what we have starting in the neighborhood when you first purchase it. Now this little stable here, I presume that I could put horses here or something like that. Yeah, because we've got a hitching post, allowed categories, mobile hitching. So I need something that had to be able to convert a amount into a, I think into a halter or something like that, so I could put it there. I'll have to look at that in a moment. Actually, I think I figured it out now. What I need to do is to go into right back in decoration mode, open this up, and bring out my mount skills and the steed of Rivendell. I mean, I have to do it that way. All right, so create a housing decoration from skill for a steed halter. So I have 4 steed halters when I purchased the house. So now I've got my steed right over here. Well, I think my steed needs a better location than standing that way. It's a very awkward position, I think, for a horse or a pony. Okay, let's do here. Let's go here. All right, good. Let's see if we can. What? What do you mean? You're not going to allow me to move it? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It took a few attempts, but it finally decided, all right, you really want it to be there? All right, it is there now. So I have 3 other mounts I could put there, but I figured the Rivendell Steed had to go there because this is the Rivendell housing neighborhood. Now, I suppose I'm going to have to decorate this place, but I think that will have to be for a later time. And in case you want to know what is the attraction to this particular house as opposed to any of the others, well, this has a very, very quick route down to the Commons area. Well, you can either go across the river or I think there's a. Oh, it's not even deep for a hobbit. It's only hip deep for a hobbit. And we're in the Commons. And of course, if I want to get to the main part of Rivendell, I could head out that way. Which can be convenient for any of my low-level characters that have no other means in order to get into this region. But that's all for our quick tour of the Rivendell Steadings. Thank you for joining me into this little peek of the Rivendell Steadings, which is the latest housing neighborhood here in the Lord of the Rings Online.